Again, cheers, Kev. I know it's early in the morning and you're a week off, but thanks again for coming on and chatting to us.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
So I wanted to ask first off which Kev we've got, because I know you've got loads of different hats. DJ, ring announcer, jiu-jitsu instructor, teacher. Is there anything I've missed off?
DJ, started getting into mind coaching and hypnosis now as well. So that's the latest thing that I'm into.
We're going to talk about that in a bit. Yeah, but how did you get into the ring announcing?
It just stemmed from DJing at the shows as well. So normally, I do like the ring music for most of the Thai boxing shows in Liverpool, and then I think one show the ring announcer didn't turn up, so I did the DJing and the announcing as well. So like a lot of them book me now to announce and DJ as well. So it's like I'm there like with 8 hands, like doing like 2 jobs at once. But it's good fun. Yeah. But then recently, a couple of like white collar shows, and then most recently on Saturday an MMA show got me to just announce fully, you know, so where I get dressed up and then I'll stand in the ring or the cage. That's why I had my first full MMA show on Saturday. That was good fun.
Did you have to practice your like Bruce Buffer before you did it or not?
I'm trying to find like my voice with it at the minute, because I think I'm only 3 or 4 in just doing it by myself, so it's not polished yet, and I'm still trying to experiment with different tones and different ways of saying things at the minute. So like sometimes I may have 3 different ways like throughout the show. If people are like, oh, listen, which they're probably not, but in my head I'm trying out new things. Like on Saturday I tried out a lot of different things, just the way of delivering someone's name. I think it's like I think we take for granted, don't we? Like when you see this like Bruce Buffer, I don't know any other famous ring announcers, but is it called intonation, the emphasis on certain words and syllables in when they speak and that. And like enunciation and that as well. Enunciation, it's good. You got to speak loud, you got to speak clearly. But then, like I had to speak loud. Like there's a couple of names that I just couldn't get. So what it did, I was like a classic like wedding DJ. I just mumbled something and shouted it dead quick. Just
is your DJ voice different to your ring announcer's voice?
No, it's very similar. It's very similar. But it's been a while since I've had a DJ voice. I haven't done weddings or functions for a while. I've done bars and clubs recently.
Scream if you want to go faster.
The wolf is open.
I've seen some pictures from the weekend. You had Owen Livesey down as well, didn't you, for the seminar? How was that?
Oh, brilliant. He lashed us all about afterwards. It was good fun. Like he's coming to yours, isn't he, soon? Yeah,
12th of June, I think.
Yeah, he's just like me and you, just dead relaxed. Yeah, very good coach. Really simple things that you'll be able to use straight away, and then he stayed inspired with everyone for an hour.
Oh, nice, that's good, isn't it?
We got him to do. He did about. We said just do an hour and 10, hour 15 max, and then we'll just roll. He went, oh, perfect. Because he was wanting to do like over. He went, I'll do 2 hours if you want. Nah, and everyone will lose track. Yeah. So an hour and 15, we smashed it, and then just rolled at the chat afterwards.
I think you learn a lot just from rolling with someone of that caliber, just to feel how they're feeling. Obviously, you're getting smashed on the bottom, like, but just to feel that pressure.
Oh, he murdered everyone. He murdered everyone. But he did it in such a nice way. Like, he was there, but I couldn't feel him juicing anything. Couldn't feel him smashing me. He was just all over me. He was just so ahead in every aspect. Like, I thought he didn't even get out of first gear.
Right.
Yeah, so wait till you're over him. It'll be good, or he trips you up.
I'm waiting for some foot trips and that. Like, we've been working through some of the stuff on his instructionals, and everyone's catching because they're so sneaker. The foot trips, aren't they? Like, you put all your weight on that foot, and before you know it, you're gone. And
I think it's better than getting a submission.
Yeah,
everyone cheers if anyone gets to take down in our place.
Yeah, we did. So we've been working through like the firemans. We've been trying to get that, and I put a little incentive out and said, if anyone catches it in a live roll, I'll give you a tenner. And everyone was just trying to, you just see his body rolling everywhere. People trying to get that, but some lad got one in a live spar, so I ended up being a tenner down.
Yeah, that's sad. That. I think like in the gym, you need like little like incentives like that, or like little like ways of simulating competition, or just ways of putting people on the spot. Like we make. Because obviously I work on the Grapplefest show. Like I like grab like an extra t-shirt, or I'll give my t-shirt, or John will give his t-shirt, and we'll make the lads fight for it. Like if he wants to fight for this like 10 quid t-shirt, I will.
Yeah. It's just a little bit of skin in the game, innit? And a little bit of incentive for people to, especially like with takedowns. I'm guilty of it as well. I'm a bit hesitant and I don't commit 100%, whereas there's a little bit of incentive for you. I might I'll get a tenner if I do this, and you commit a little bit more and go for it, don't you?
Or if someone gets the phone out.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I started trying to do a lot of filming just for like Instagram and social media and stuff. And as soon as people see the camera come out, they give that little bit extra percentage when they try.
Yeah, you think it was like the world, like the way people behave when that camera comes out. Or
Speaking of Grapplefest, you have the best seat in the house as well, don't you? At Grapplefest on that DJ booth.
Yeah, right in like the bird's nest, literally looking over everyone. I can see everyone and everything.
That's cool.
But then everyone can see me. Someone sent me a video the other day because like Louise bought some pizza and I munched on this massive bit of pizza. It was like, I think we were like 4 to 5 hours in. I had net, and like someone sent me a video. That was the best moment of the show. I'm like so happy. And then another woman from the Northeast for like cappuccinos, mate, said, we were watching you eat your dinner. It was just the best thing ever. And then like she said, you got your second pussy and you're just so happy.
People subscribe to Fight TV just to watch you eat food.
Then they must watch me when I'm watching the fights. I'm like,
your reaction.
Yeah. So I'll get really into it.
Top matches as well. I can't remember the 2 girls' names who fought, but when they were locked in that arm lock, weren't they?
Rosa Walsh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was watching it on Fight TV, going,
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How she never tapped was unreal. Her arm's going to be a mess, guaranteed.
It was crazy.
Guaranteed mess. It was weird not seeing you in that corner in your little booth as well.
Some lads still went and was in the booth and that, but I went to a seminar up in the Lakes. I was with Ben Poppleton and Steve Gawthorpe in the Lakes. So it's the first time I've watched it on Fight TV with the commentary. So it's quite interesting listening to it with like live commentary as well, which was good.
Is it good?
Yeah,
I've never watched any recordings back.
Have you not?
No.
It's good. Yeah. Chris, I don't know the other lad's name, but Chris Thompson and the other lad do a really good job.
Dave Leatherby. Dave who's got role models.
Oh, right, that's right, yeah. They do a really good job, like, yeah. It's cool. There's some good matches on it. I think Mick Stanton's match was one of the
brilliant.
one I found exciting. Owen Lipsey's match, obviously. But yeah, there was some fireworks, and you could actually feel even on the replay when Owen Lipsey and Michael Pixley came out, the volume and everything, even on the replay. Yeah, the atmosphere, you could almost feel it coming through the telly. Everyone's kind of audio went up and that, like, and the atmosphere was proper electric. Even it came across on the feed, like. Yeah.
Brilliant!
Mad. Yeah,
that's what you want.
I know, definitely. Yeah. So one of the main reasons I got you on, Kev, was I dabbled in NLP a little bit because I used to be in the Ministry of Defence Police. In 2003, I joined the police, moved down to Reading. And I looked a little bit into NLP because I thought it might help me with my job in terms of interviewing people and just communicating better. Kind of lost touch with it a little bit. And I know you've just kind of started working. You've just been certified for some qualification in NLP, haven't you?
Yeah.
You've been working with Vinnie Shawman a little bit, or done some of his qualifications. So I just wanted to kind of explore it a little bit more and dive back into it again. How did you get into it? How was you introduced to NLP? And first of all, tell us what NLP is.
Linguistic programming. So neuro is your head, linguistic is your mouth, and then obviously you'll program together. I first got into it. How old am I now? I'm 38. Always forget how old I am now. 8 years ago. So it was when I was Thai boxing, competing in Thai boxing, and I always felt in my last couple of fights that you just can't pull the trigger. There was something like what's going on. Doing really well in the gym because at the time our team we were doing quite well, so obviously everyone was contributing towards that, and I felt I was a big part of that, everyone's success. But then there was fights where just didn't show up, didn't get battered today, but just why aren't you really pushing the pace? Why aren't you trying to really win? So it was having a conversation with Chris Thompson, who's now one of my main coaches and good mates. He said, "We ever thought about going to see Vinny? Because I'm currently seeing him as well." Some side to the mental game. I went, okay, yeah. So obviously got in contact with Vinny, and I did it's called. In fact, he still does it. It's 4 weeks to freedom course. It is. It's brilliant. I'd recommend just doing it, even for yourself. Right. So it was 4 sessions, and then I think we sorted it after the second one.
All right.
Yeah. So we went we did this hypnosis exercise where basically you ask your subconscious mind. So obviously I'm in trance at this point. So my eyes are closed. I'm deep in trance, And he said, right, I want you to ask your subconscious mind why it feels like it's holding you back. So the way like I sort of framed it in my head, I say me, I was walking towards the door. Like I knocked on the door, and then I opened the door. yeah. And your subconscious mind version of me. And he said, right, ask it why you feel it's holding you back. And it said, or he said, it's to protect you. And that's all it stems from. Because if you like sort of get involved in like the firefight as such, you're going to get hurt. So if I like just keep you back a little bit, I'll keep you nice and safe. Because I come out to fight today, I was like hardly marked up at all. I'm not tired. Obviously, I was a little bit beat up, but like you didn't push the pace at all. And that was it. So like after session 2, that was it. Like that was the moment of realization of, okay, your subconscious is there to protect you, even though it may not seem like at the time. Every like sort of action it takes has got a positive intent. So like for example, let's say someone who doesn't apply for a job or ask a person out. Oh yeah, the fear of rejection. So if I don't ask them out or apply for a job, I won't get rejected. I won't feel that fear of rejection. So I'll just stay here. It's okay. Don't apply for it. Yeah. So really, you need to like obviously push through that, and then you could ask yourself, well, what happens if I do get it? So look at it the other side. Yeah. That's what a lot of people like. People don't mind hold them back from just certain things, achieving great things. Even it's just like a little promotion at work or just doing something out the ordinary, like taking your driving test. Yeah, of course, definitely. A big thing I got from it, and I can't remember the name of like the concept behind it, but it's them 4 questions that if you're going to start to explore something new and maybe that's uncomfortable, there's like 4 quadrants of 4 questions. So ask yourself, what will happen if you do this? What will happen if you don't do this? And then you do the reverse of it. So what won't happen if you do it? And what won't happen if you don't do it? And that's a bit of a mind fuck, that one, like, but working that's good. I've never thought like that. That's
exploring those 4 like quadrants. What will happen if you do? What will happen if you don't? What won't happen if you do? And what won't happen if you don't? It's a bit of it gets you to like explore certain like avenues and all the different positives and negatives.
Some people won't though. Some people only think in that negative, don't they? And it's like, like a big thing I try to, even in the gym, is like people, the way people they speak about themselves.
The language is a big thing in NLP. Yeah. So if you like start saying like, oh, you're this, you're that, like, oh, do you mind if I swear? Of course, mate. Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'm a fat mess. Well, you will then become a fat mess.
Yeah.
Like your words then become that, and then it's just that ingrained in their brain that they are this fat mess, and they'll never train or they'll never eat right. They just think that they're just destined to live like that.
Yeah. I think it's something that we completely take. Take advantage. What's the word I'm trying to say? We forget about, because we're so openly when we talk. We talk from like as soon as we can, 3 years old, 4 years old, and our language is such an important thing that connects to the brain, isn't it? Like all around that NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, the linguistic and the modeling. Your language you use becomes your identity, doesn't it?
Yeah, like I'm always dead aware of my language, especially when I'm teaching it in class of a night. I try not. It's very rare that I'll say, "Don't do it like this," but then like people's brains switch on. Well, don't do it like that, and then you start doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
So I always try to just teach. This is what you do, and then maybe later on, okay, these are some of the common mistakes that you may see. So I'll never try to teach you, right? This is not what you don't do. But then, like, if I say to you, don't think about like a green elephant. Okay, a green elephant's just popped into your brain. So it's very important how we structure our sentences, especially I think as coaches as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I'm working on, because I mean I've never done any real like coaching before I started setting up the club. I was coaching 1 class a week for my old instructor, but I've never done any like formal, this is how you coach. Something I just jumped in at the deep end, just started doing it. And again, going back to your point before, Kev, that I am naturally an anxious person. So for me, before I got used to it, before you build up that like callus of being used to coaching or doing anything out your comfort zone, I'm constantly got those like negative thoughts in me and going, shit, what if I fail? What if I get it wrong? What if I fuck this up? And everyone just starts laughing at me. And I've got to the point now where, those things can still happen, but I'm all right with it. If it does happen and I fluff me words, or I do something wrong, or I do a technique wrong, or whatever it is, I'm all right with it. I can accept it. And I think that's that's a powerful thing as well, that you understand that I can handle what the worst case scenario is, and I'm cool with it. Like,
do you then go back to them 4 questions?
Yeah. Yeah. But I did that the first time when I started setting up the club. I spoke to my wife about it, and I was like, is this a good idea or not? Like, what? Because at the time I was still working full time as well. So it was a big commitment. And it was like, well, let's go through it then. What will happen if I do it? What will happen if I don't? What won't happen? And like you said before, Kev, what happens is you end up, the question is framed in such a way that you come up with positive outcomes, and the other question's framed in such a way that you come up with all the negative side of it. So whichever one you're fueled by, whether that's you're running away from the fear or you're embracing the comfort side of it, you get both frames of those questions then, which is quite an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is good. So are you full time now with it?
I still work 2 days a week at Leeds Centurions. Yeah, the rugby club in Lee. I work there 2 days a week.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
keep probably things fresh for you then, and obviously then guaranteed income. That's good.
Definitely. Yeah. So about you, how does your club run yourself? Because I don't know your partner's name. Sorry, the hostile operator.
John Smith. John's worth getting on for the chat. Like, John's a very interesting character. Right. You've only met him a little bit, haven't you, at the Inter Club? Just passing, haven't you? But John's a very interesting person.
Yeah.
Like yin and yang. Like you couldn't have 2 of me running the club, and you couldn't have 2 of John running the place.
Well, that works though. I mean, I think I seen something on Instagram that you both got these crazy ideas, and rather than just going, nah, mate, that's going to be shit, you both like allow each other to have this. We'll try that for a little bit. Yeah, we'll try this. And from my point of view, like on the outside, does work well. Things are working, mate. Yeah,
it does work well. But it's like, like he sort of keeps me in check, and obviously I'll then keep him in check.
Yeah,
it's good. So the way it works with us, like, we both still work full time. We both still work during the day. So obviously I work on supply teaching. I've been working a lot lately, and I'm going back to Southport after half term. So obviously day in work, then it's only most days straight to the gym. So I still do a few private lessons. I do think 3 private lessons a week, just kids ones. So I'm in the gym. Monday we've got kids class, so that's at 5 o'clock. We're always in together, me and John, with that one. Tuesday I do a private at 4:30, and then on Thursday I do a private at 4:30 and 5:30. They're the only time I'll do private lessons. So between there's myself, John, and there's one of the other lads, Ben Pike. Like Ben coaches for us as well. So we offer Ben a free membership, and we allow him to do private lessons as well without taking no money off him. Yeah. So it just helps. Like it won't be a struggle, I think, if it's just me and John, or it's just me. I think one of us, if there was one of us, we could go full time with it. But because there's 2 of us, we just split it. It's just a very nice bonus at the end of the month for us, which is good, and it's very enjoyable. It is good.
Yeah, it is, definitely. We've so I've got a few coaches who, again, with free memberships, like, so they help me out doing like 1 class a week or whatever, and they get free memberships and that. But we've just got Danny Hughes. He's going to start coaching for us as well. So he's going to start doing.
Hasn't he gone injured again though?
He's going in for his operation this week or next week. He did his knee or something, but he's got an operation date for it. So I don't know what the turnaround time is for it, but yeah,
good assets to club that, Danny.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because we've got more and more lads now who want to compete, especially in the no-gi grappling or sub-grappling, and have appeared on the Contenders series. We had a lad, Paul Callan, who appeared on the Contenders series, and more people are getting into the sub-grappling and want to compete in that. And Danny, obviously, with his experience, that's his game. Like, he can bring that to the club. So, yeah.
That's like says a lot about you as, like, the owner or head coach of the club, bringing in someone else. Like, Joe, you know, I like saying, I don't know it all. Here's someone else. And that's like a good thing. A lot of people wouldn't do that. So that's like a testament to yourselves. That's
really I appreciate that. But I mean, like, I have competed, but not very often. It's not something that motivates me that much. When I did the hybrid, the veterans hybrid grappling event at your place, that was just basically to show the lads who were coming training that, like, I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get a little bit of experience so I can pass it down to you. But just have a go, just jump in. That was the only reason why I did that. To, like, kind of lead from the front almost. But Danny's been there and done it. He's competed on Grapplefest in the early days multiple times on it. And I just thought, I'm humble enough to admit that, I don't know it all. I class myself as a decent coach in that, but I'm also aware of not me failings as such, but weaknesses in my kind of experience level. And that's why we brought Danny in. And I'm looking forward to it. So
That's good. Like, we'll get you back on. I think we'll have maybe on the August one.
Yeah,
we'll get some of the old boys back on again.
Yeah, the veterans. Yeah, it was good.
That was brilliant. Your match against Gray was brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I actually did on, because we've got an RGA Lee YouTube channel as well. I did a little breakdown of it. So I had it up on Zoom and I commentated over the top as to what I was trying to do, what Graham was doing to me, how he was stopping me doing it. Because I think when people were watching it, because there was a lot of stuff going on inside the space that you couldn't see, he was defending. I was trying to wrap the kimura up, but he was defending it. And what people couldn't see, I tried to talk over the feed and that. Like, that's, if you're interested in watching that, like that.
Definitely. It was such a good match. Like, I was made up reffing it. It was so good to watch.
So going back to mind coaching, people might be listening to this and go, what, hypnosis? What is all that about? How does that happen because it's a change of state, isn't it? Basically, hypnosis is just putting you in a state where maybe you're more aware of your subconscious. How does that work, getting into a state of hypnosis?
So I think a lot of people think, obviously, hypnosis, they think, remember, like Paul McKenna, like, remember him, like making people do daft stuff on the telly, like on a Saturday night. I think it's, from my personal experience, it's a very calm state. I think I'm still aware of what goes on. I think it's just a very relaxed state where you're just literally just tuning in. And the way I was taught to do it, and if I'm ever in, like, we sort of like ask the subconscious mind for permission to talk to it. And it's a way of locating things that are maybe located deep. Like the way Vinny once said it to me, it's like the subconscious mind was like a big storage unit. You know, remember like in Indiana Jones, all like the things are. It's like there's rows of stuff just built up like artifacts. It's there. It's like a big filing system, and if you ask it to go get something, it can. Yeah. So that was my like. So that's my interpretation. And again, it's just opening people up for suggestions to change. So we're not saying you will change. It's just recommendations. Like, obviously, if the person wants to change maybe habits or behaviors, they will. So it's me just suggesting things to them, just positive things to suggest. It's not telling them that they will have to do this or they will have to change.
So is that kind of one of the barriers then? Because you'll see it like where people will say, "Oh, I'm not susceptible to hypnosis. I'm not. It doesn't work on me." Is that because necessarily?
Maybe, if you say that, well,
you don't want it to. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it won't. If you say, "Oh, it won't work on me,"
place, aren't they?
Yeah, there's no point in me trying to maybe work with them. Go, "Oh, it wouldn't work on me." Well, fine, that's fine. If someone says to me, like, I want to change this behavior or I want to fix this phobia, then they'll probably fix it. They'll get it fixed. Yeah, because they're open to suggestion. I think you've got to have a certain level of intelligence as well to do this kind of stuff as well. Because if you want to improve, if you're open to improve as well, if you're open to maybe let them barriers down, let someone in to help you. Yeah, and you're, I think, suggestible. That's the word that they use, suggestible. Yeah. So if you want to change, you can. But like you said, if someone goes, "Oh, it wouldn't work on me," that okay,
then it's not going to do.
Yeah. It won't. You'll stay the same, doing them same behaviors then forever.
Yeah, I think there's still obviously a little bit of backlash involved in it, but I think more and more now people are understanding the mental side of whatever it is, whether it's sport or even just going for job interviews, anything you want to do to progress. The mental side is like the 1% in it. You know what I mean? That's like the last like piece of the puzzle. And I think more and more people are starting to understand that now, and it's not necessarily just like, "Oh yeah, fuck that shit." It's all airy fairy bollocks. That people need to address the thoughts and control their emotions and be aware of that kind of stuff, don't they?
Well, even like the past 10 years, I didn't know nothing. Like I didn't know your subconscious mind. What's that? And there's that many podcasts, there's that much information now about, that much research been done. I think in the past 10, 15 years, like, people are really onto it, and then people really want to improve their lives now. Yeah. And like, there's that maybe them stigmas. "Oh yeah, well, you go and see someone to help with your thoughts," like your big wimp, or like that kind of stuff. I think, that's gone, or it's going now.
Definitely, yeah.
It's really going in the right direction.
You see it now in meditation as well. Even just whether that's breathing exercises, there's so much research that meditation does actually help. It doesn't have to be in a religious sense where you sat there cross-legged and humming mantras and stuff, but controlling your breathing I don't know if you've read or listened to the audio book James Nestor, Breathe.
No.
Have you come across that? Read that? No. He's been on all the podcast circuits, so he's been on all the major podcasts and that. But he's written this book. Basically, the book is a lesson in how we overbreathe. We breathe too loud. We breathe wrongly, so we breathe with too much of a mouth breather. So this book he's a journalist. He's not a scientist, and him and a colleague spent like 2 weeks with purposely blocked noses just so they were.
Has he been on the Joe Rogan podcast?
He has, yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to it. Yeah,
James Nestor. Well, his book is fantastic. Like, and since that, I have consciously tried to like nasal breathe, and there's all like health benefits involved with it, but even mental benefits like relaxing your mind and bringing your breathing rate down so you can handle more CO2 tolerance. You've got a bigger tolerance to CO2, which then stops you panicking in certain stressful situations. So there's all that element to it as well, which is it's fascinating.
Well, like there's a lot to be said for, right? Stop, take a deep breath. You know, when things like maybe your brain's chatting away or there's like things are getting on top, just stop, take a few moments and just breathe. Just breathe. That's a simple, like you come back to that point where you said people don't know how to breathe. People are constantly in that sort of like that panic state of breathing.
Yeah. And you just said that every state we can be in, so anxious, depressed, excited, every state has a breathing pattern as well. So like if you're anxious, obviously you're hyperventilating, are you? You might be shallow breathing. Depressed might be like a bit, and I'm generalizing, but it might be like labored breathing.
Yeah.
You're happy. You're breathing through your chest and your shoulders and that, like, and every state has a breathing pattern. So we can change our state quite simply by, like you just said, just nice big deep breath, diaphragmatic breathing in through your nose, a long breath and a long exhale can just calm you. Research shows it reduces blood pressure and everything as well. So
simple things. I think everything that I've been doing lately, just like the mind coach, it's simple stuff, nothing complicated. Just keep it simple. Simple things work.
Of course they do, yeah. And they work under pressure as well, don't they? Because it's less to remember and it's less complex than that as well. So yeah. Have you been doing it with any of the lads in the gym?
Yeah, but one of the lads is what did he come in for? Like this lad, he's a very high flying individual. He's got a great job. I think he's the accountant. So he has to like meet people. He has to meet clients. And one of his phobias that he came in with was he had a phobia of going out for his tea or going to a restaurant. Right. So he said, look, can we sort this out? So at the beginning of the session, I said, okay, I'm just going to talk to you now. If I said to you, what would happen if I said, right, me and you, we're going to go and have some food now in the restaurant down the road. And he went grey. His voice started croaking. You could see he was like shaking a little bit. He was like started getting sweaty. So we changed we changed a few things. We reframed things. We did we did 2 techniques with him. We did the fast fear flow model and the swish technique. And then literally by the end of the session, I said, okay, if I said to you now, me and you are going to go for some food. Said, okay, let's go. From in a space of maybe 30 minutes. And then the next night he was out having his tea with his missus.
Oh, nice.
It was amazing. He said it's life-changing. Because obviously his missus wants to go out and have some food, like most people do, and enjoy a nice meal. Yeah. As we all do. And he's now going out. Yeah. So he says it's costing him a fortune now, yeah.
Was that like a bit of social anxiety or something he was experiencing, going out for meals and that? Is that what the issue was?
I think like one of the issues we got to the issue was certain foods triggered him as well. So like it may upset his stomach. Said, okay, so let's address this then. Let's look at what you're eating. Maybe on the day of, and when you get there, he's like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that. It's bad, isn't it? Yeah. So we got to their little roots, just find them little things, then we just change it and then we just reframe. Because like the fast phobia model, like obviously 1.6, it's quite complex. Basically, you always start at points of safety. So like let's say before like the first time you experience this bad event, it started there, and then you fast forward it during like in black and white, and then at the end of you run it through like a movie screen. So point of safety there, you ask them to fast forward it, and then at the end, you come out at the end at the point of safety again, and then you rewind it forwards back. Obviously, I've just butchered it there, but it's a fast process. So start and finish, you constantly ask them to replay it forwards, replay it back, like constantly going forwards and back, changing it from color, changing it to black and white, and then that fixes them.
Yeah. And that's a
that's what he's now out.
Yeah, so one of the things I utilised NLP for was visualization, which is some of the stuff you're talking about there, right? You're changing did they call it submodalities? So all the the colour.
So the things around, colours, sight, smells, people, brightness.
Yeah, and it amazed me at the depth that you could go into in terms of visual. So when you visualise, people listening to this or watching it might be like, I'm going to visualise something, and all you see is a picture with colour, maybe. But you've got obviously sounds. What sounds are playing in the background? Can you feel like sun on your body, or what? Say you're sunbathing on a beach. Can you feel the sun and the heat on your body? What was the word? Are you associated with the picture, or are you disassociated? So
So are you looking at it through your own eyes? Are you looking at it? Like say disassociated, where you're looking at yourself doing it? Yeah,
and that's quite powerful. So that's a different way of viewing something, isn't it? Whether you're looking at it through your eyes or whether you're looking at yourself doing it. That's what you just said, Kev, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, the disassociation one's good for, say, sort of like maybe fears or phobias, because you don't want to be in it. You want to be looking at it from a point of safety. You're watching the event take place. So that's like part of that fast phobia model, where you're disassociated or double disassociated, because there's like two layers, like the fast phobia. So you're watching yourself watching it.
Yeah.
So you are there and you're watching from a point of safety, because it's framed in such a manner where you're basically in a cinema, in the projection booth, looking down at you, watching the film.
Yeah, so you
that's our like sort of deeper gaze.
From it. Yeah, that's cool.
So you're nice and safe.
Yeah, I remember using it. So I used to, like I said, I was in the Ministry of Defence Police, and it was a firearms role. It sounds more exciting than it was. I was actually just a glorified security guard, basically. But every now and again, we'd go and exercise, and we'd have to do these exercises and that. And they told you when they were going to come up, and I used to dread them and get really quite anxious that sometimes I'd have to take the lead on these exercises and that. And after learning kind of this technique, changing all the different variables in the visualization process, I visualized, I was doing this exercise, and the sergeant at the time, who was quite a strong character, and that's what kind of made me anxious, that if I fuck this up, I'm going to get bollocked and he's going to be shouting at me. And I turned everything black and white, because that made me feel more calm. And I had what's the foreground music? I had that playing over the image in my head.
Yeah.
And that immediately, I know it sounds stupid, like, but that immediately just, I was all right. Like, I'd stopped being anxious. I wasn't bothered about it. And every time I started to feel myself, my heart rate going on, started to feel sweaty, I'd get this image in my head, and that immediately brought me back down. So I know that's a big example,
thing. Well, that's a big thing with NLP, is like, if you put it in black and white, you're not giving it much substance. You're not adding colour to it. You're not adding depth to it and then making it. So it's like, it ends up blurry sometimes.
Yeah.
But then more colour. Let's say if you gave them thoughts of, I'm going to do it, I'm going to fail, and you start adding colour to it, and it'll just get more vibrant, and then you will go out and mess it up.
Yeah. I was trying to explain it to someone, and the way I explained it was like, when you have old school like stereos and you have the graphic equalizer on it and that, don't you?
Yeah.
Each one of them was like a colour, the sound, vibrance, and you can just play around with it in your head, whether that's good or down, and you find out how that makes you feel. And if it's strong, you can bring it back down again. That's the way I try to explain it. Well, it's fascinating. I loved it, me. Yeah.
Brilliant. So I'll try to do like maybe 4 to 5 sets with people. So each set, let's say the submodalities get clearer, like at the end, like maybe set 5. Everything's like in crystal clear HD, or they're actually there.
Yeah.
So some people have a lot of, like the last client that I work, one of the last lads that I work with, I said, okay, what you say? I said, what's your imagination like? He went, I don't know. I went, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's imagine you now in the gym, just drilling a basic technique. And then he went, I can't do it. So imagine yourself grabbing the wrist, doing this. And some people really struggle with visualization. I think visualization's so important. Like I must daydream loads in work, and even just day to day, because I'm just constantly visualizing things. Because I'm always constantly thinking about what I'm going to teach that night. If it's something that I don't do, I've got to really mentally drill it as well. So I've got to imagine myself doing it. Where do I put my hand? What do I do this?
Yeah.
And then it's the same with my goals as well. I'll be daydreaming constantly, just picturing what it'll be like during the process, and then what it'll feel like at the end of the process as well. So I daydream loads.
Yeah, and it's massive. I don't think enough people do it. Yeah, I don't think enough people do it. Whether that's because that's maybe not their learning style or whatever, but people don't. picture themselves where they want to be and what that feels like, and what do they call it, like an ecology test or something, what it's going to feel like, whether it's going to, But
that's a big part of like goal setting and doing things like what you've just said then. What do you think it'd feel like once you've got there?
Yeah.
And people don't understand that.
I know.
People don't realize how important their imagination is. Because let's say, for example, one thing is like, say people come to you for is, oh yeah, I want to be more confident, or I've never had confidence. Okay then. So I asked them, what do you think it'd feel like if you were confident? Oh. And that then triggers that same response if they ever have felt confident, because the subconscious doesn't know if it's real or not.
Definitely. Yeah. And those questions are powerful. I was working with, I did a year with, I don't know if you've ever heard of Paul Morse.
No, what's that?
He's like a kind of a mindset coach, business coach, mentor kind of thing. And he has a program. One of his programs is called Alliance, and I did a year. And it was during COVID, to be honest, during the lockdown. Obviously, I think we opened the club in 2019. 2020 was obviously the lockdown year and that. And I started working with him because I was a little bit like, fuck, this is like, I've put a lot of heart and soul into like trying to set up this club, and I can't even do it now. Like, what's going to happen? Financial, started worrying a little bit, and I went down that rabbit hole and started working with him. And it was just kind of the mindset stuff on, well, you're focusing on what you can't do, focus on what you can do. Again, simple stuff, but it was all about those questions, Kev, what you're saying, like, well, how's it going to feel in the future if you're feeling like this? How's it going to feel if you've got this goal that you want to build this club? What other things can you do? So that's why I started doing the podcasts and stuff over lockdown. That's when we started doing that. But
sorry, go on.
His whole thing is questions are the steering wheel of the mind. So like, if you've got powerful questions, they can steer you into the right direction. So like you're saying, what would it feel like to be confident? Just things like that. Yeah.
What you touched on there was really good. I think you said what I don't want to happen. That's a lot of people will say, let's say if they come to me, go, yeah, I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel like that. But like I remember Vinny saying it to me when one of my first sessions, I went, oh, I don't want to hold back in fights. I don't want this. And he went, you haven't told me what you want. Yeah. He said, what do you want? Yeah. I was like, light bulb moment. What do you want? He said, the thing he said before, and right, he said, we did a little exercise, wrote a few things down. Like, hey, well, I don't want this. I don't want that. He went, okay, then what do you want? Mm-hmm. It's like framing like your mind again. What do you want? Oh, I don't want to feel like this. But then if you focus on what you don't want, that then happens. Yeah. So that bad thing happens. Yeah. Oh, I don't want the club to go under. Well, the club's now going to go under. Because all you're focusing on is that.
And people might not understand that they might be more motivated by the pleasure of something, like you say, what they do want, rather than the pain of what they don't want. Just that reframe might be like a whole new game changer to some people, mightn't it? If they focus on the actual pleasure and move towards the pleasure rather than move away from the pain. It's a different way to think of the people, and it might make people like just achieve whatever they want to achieve, just having that little reframe of that question.
Reframe, such a great word. It's a great thing to focus on. How can I reframe this?
Yeah, I know. So how would you suggest to people who are listening to us talk about this NLP and stuff, and maybe they want to either just try something themselves, or they want to look into something, start reading about something, where would you send people if they wanted to get into it or even try something themselves?
Book a session with me. Obviously, if you didn't want to do something like that, there's loads. I've even like just gone back on. I've had a look on Spotify just to try pick up any other NLP tech. There's loads of Spotify channels now that offer that just do NLP techniques. And a lot of them are the techniques that I've spoke about. So I think it's always better being there with someone, because they can then calibrate off your reaction, and you'll see like your little micro expressions, how maybe things are going. I think you still need someone to coach you one-to-one, maybe just to be aware of things. There's lots on Spotify. There's lots on YouTube. Right. On there, I'd start there, and there's plenty of books as well. But I'd always recommend going with a one-to-one coach, either over Zoom or one-to-one, because they'll be able to like then explain things a little bit more different, or they'll just they'll reframe it for you, and then you can get the feedback from them, and vice versa. Yeah,
I think it'd have been good if we could have actually set a face-to-face one, because we could have maybe like tried some of these techniques. You could have tried them. So I'm quite open to stuff like that, and see if we could have done done anything like that in person? Like, so how would a session? Sorry, Kev, go on.
I'll come down to one at the club if you want, because I want to, because it'd be a good opportunity, because that's something that I want to get into, doing like them little mini seminars around like clubs and that. So if you wouldn't mind, I'll do one for you. Yeah, I'll do one for you.
Because we have got a few of the lads. We have got a few of the lads who, like I said, they're into competing in that, and I do think, and they may not admit it themselves, but I do think that the mental side of it is what is holding them back. Do you know what I mean? And I do think it would be massive for some of the guys who are getting into the competition side of it. How would a session work then? Yeah, we'll do. We'll sort that out. If I came with you for a session, how does it work? Talk me through it. What would happen?
Just depends on your goals first. So if I'll ask you what you want. Like that'd be that first thing. So what you want, and then like on a scale of maybe 1 to 5, we'll ask about, let's say, if it's something that's maybe bothering like a fear or something like that, we'll rate it on a scale of 1 to 5. We'll go through some basic, like I call them like warm up exercises, because like some people aren't great at using their imagination. One of the techniques that I'll always start with, it's called Hakala. It's about opening your peripheral vision. So it's about focusing on like a point up high. And again, you'll feel your eyesight go from like there. Everything just opens up. Right. So I have a few, and I'll take people through a few, just change, like, what's the new favorite one called? The circle of power. We call it the circle of power. So it's recalling states where we'll go through basic emotions of a time when you were happy, a time when you felt strong, a time when you felt confident. And basically we then send it all into this circle that you've drawn with your mind, and then you step into it. And again, you feel all their emotions. Another good one is anchoring. So again, anchoring them positive or confident states into a part on your body. So one of my anchors is, when I was doing my training, it's this one. It's a sort of like a happiness / calmer one. So we sort of locked in. So like my happy and calm one is Saturday night. There's me, the missus, and the dog all just sat on the couch. That's like sort of like your happy place. You know, everything's fine. Everyone else is around. It's fine. We're all just sat there, and like maybe feeling a bit like, just fire that anchor off, and then it just gives you that little lift. And then same if I'm ever like teaching anywhere that I don't know, you'll probably see me like touching me knee. That's like my confidence anchor.
Right.
I've anchored in a state where I'm in my gym, and obviously the class is flowing, and I'm super confident. So even like before this, then I was like touching me knee, just firing off that confidence anchor.
Yeah.
I still use it today. And I always recommend people to, like, if you do a session with me, one session, it's never enough. You have to like practice these techniques by yourself. You have to hone them yourself.
Yeah.
And for maybe like change work, was that exercise that I spoke about, like the fast fear model, the one where you get them to look at the movie of things, like the bad thing, you fast forward in it, you rewind in it, but again you double disassociate because you're there in the projection booth looking down at you watching the film.
Yeah.
And I think that lasts maybe just over an hour, because we'll do things over and over and over. Like we'll do like maybe 4 or 5 sets of things.
Yeah.
There's a great exercise for if people are stressed. It's like a gratitude exercise where you basically think of all them, that basically like a happy place. Like that's me butchering it again, just being dead general, with all the people that you love, all the things that you love, and then that sort of outweighs all the stress and like maybe turmoil that's going on, because that positive always crushes that negative. So that's a typical one with me.
So it could be quite intense then, couldn't it? That it could be, depending on what you try to work through, like it could be quite intense, couldn't it?
Like I've come out of it and I've been like knackered. Sometimes we're like the lads with the like going to the restaurant, that one, I went home and my head was mashed. Yeah. It's like I said to Sophie when I came in, I went, I've just done like an exorcism, because like you put that much into it, and you're supposed to get that much into it. Yeah.
Has it been, I don't know if you know whether it has or hasn't, but could the same technique be worked with like more extreme issues like PTSD and veterans who've been in the military and all that? Could it be used in that way as well?
I believe it can. That fast fear model, I was talking to one of the other lads who's a former Marine, and he said he's done that, because I think he said he served an Afghan at a time, and whoever did it with him, they did that fast phobia model with him, and he said he's been fine ever since.
Yeah.
So I think it can.
All right.
Definitely.
So
if they want to like change and help, I think it will work.
Yeah, I work with a few veterans over in Lee, and it'd be good to maybe like recommend that to them if they are struggling. That like NLP's an option for that.
Definitely. Yeah. Just give them some techniques just to work with every day.
Yeah,
and hopefully it does help.
Yeah. So what's next for whether it's contenders, whether it's the hybrid competitions you've got going on at ASW Liverpool? What's happening next? What's up and coming?
On the horizon next, we've got June 19th is our next Interclub. We're doing blue belts in the morning.
You got cash prizes for that as well, aren't you? Is that the one with cash prizes?
Yeah, we've got an 8-woman no-gi tournament as well. But we've never done one of them, and I've got some cash prizes for that.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, we've got white belts. We've never done like a double header ever, because normally what we used to do, we'd have the Interclub in the morning, and then we'd have some advanced matches on in the afternoon. Because now we're doing the contenders, we're not doing the advanced matches no more. We're still going to do the over 40s guys. We're still going to have them on.
Yeah.
It's going to be maybe 1 or 2 advanced matches, but then it'll always either be the contender series now or a white or the blue belts in the afternoon.
Yeah, I think we've got some white belts coming on that June.
Oh, good.
June 19th, is it? Sunday the 19th?
Yeah, Sunday the 19th.
We've got a couple of lads going into that, like, so yeah, I'll be down there.
Oh, good.
Yeah. How did the contenders thing come about then? Is that something you've always done? Or has it happened before? Or was that?
No, when we first started doing the Interclub, Chris did mention it. Chris, who owns Grapplefest.
Yeah.
I think we were under the impression it was, or I think our goal was for it to be a feeder show for the big show, Grapplefest. Like that was always the goal. But then the way things started working out, like me and John said, oh yeah, if we've got the 3rd best show in the country, me and you now. Like the matches that we were sticking on, like, oh, this is getting a bit wild this now. Then Chris said, look, would you now do a contenders show for us? So again, if they win that tournament on the day, or they get to the final of the tournament, they'll then have the final, on the main show. And it's a good incentive. Yeah, I think like what we did initially with them matches, it got like the attention of maybe Chris and Dan to say, oh yeah, they'll do a good job then too of making a feeder show for us.
Yeah. But it was massive as well. It was them 2 matches in particular, 2 finals, like were wicked as well. Weren't they? Well worthy of being on a show such as Grapplefest and that. It was wicked, wasn't it?
They were so good, so good, and it all started from like the little garage in Skep.
I know, it's mad. I know. Like I think I don't know his full name, but Cal Pacino's got quite a bit of a following himself.
Oh,
anyway, hasn't he? So
I love him. Yeah, Sunderland
Strangler. Yeah.
He was like his Instagram hand, like when he messaged me to get on the contenders, I went, yeah, I've got to have him. And he sent me a voice note as well. I think, right. He felt like Sunderland, like, oh mate, I'm going to push the pace and everything, man. I went, yeah, I want you. And he's a dead nice fella out. Like he always messages me now. We always message him like every couple of days to see how each other are now.
Yeah, I know, he was cool. So what's the next level of a contenders then? Because that was purple belts, was it? Was that purple belts?
Yeah, I think it's going to be purple again. I think because ADCC is coming up in September, there's no Grapplefest, I think, for a while now. But I think we'll probably do a contenders show in August. So whatever Chris says, like what he's after, basically. Yeah. He hasn't mentioned nothing yet of what he wants yet. I think maybe some bigger lads. I think he may do like an over 100 or under 100 one next.
Yeah.
Get the big guys on.
Yeah. I think purple belt's a good level though as well, isn't it? Because Grapplefest has started now because it's such an established show. Like Matty Holmes, he started on Grapplefest as a purple belt, and now he's black belt competing against the best in the world. So it shows that it can actually help. Grapplers
they will push it. They will push you forwards.
Yeah.
Like he'll one day, I think he'll have that under 90 title. I think he will.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he'll start getting the push in the next few months. But I think he deserves that push soon.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I think it's a good level to start getting into it, like any late blue, purple belts, because you've got that. Then if you're excited, I love what they said on the Grapplefest, even in the commentary and that. But what he promotes, Chris Thompson, is if you're exciting, you've got a good chance of coming back on. We just don't want boring fights. So whether you lose, as long as you're exciting, like
But did you notice, like, each time, like, maybe someone sat down last Saturday, everyone booed?
Yeah, didn't they? Yeah. Well, what was it? What was the match after Owen Livesey and Michael Pixley? And he sat straight down. I can't remember.
I think everyone just booed it.
Yeah. Was it not Owen O'Flanagan? And he sat down just taking the piss. I think he sat down just taking the piss and everyone booed.
I can't remember who was after him. I can't remember. Oh, no, Owen didn't sit down. Owen stood up for a bit with John Blank. Like John Blank just charged.
That was crazy as well, wasn't it? For him to beat him. Wow. That was impressive as well, wasn't it?
Enjoyed that.
I know.
So what's like the plans for you guys next going forward?
I'm trying to tweak. So I'm always interested in how to change like almost structural classes and stuff. Because at the moment we have fundamental classes. We have an advanced class starting now as well. We have an advanced class. More people are starting to attend that. We have 3 no-gi grappling classes a week. Obviously, when Danny starts coaching, I think he's going to start doing the Wednesday and the Friday. So I get an opportunity to train as well. Then I can train while Danny's coaching the classes. I'm going to start playing around with a few different formats of how to coach in the classes. There was one, Lachlan Giles put a post out not so long ago about something that he was trialing in his gym. It's like almost individual like learning. So you'll have like an open mat session, one open mat session a week. And rather than it just being everyone rocks up and starts rolling, which it always ends up being anyway, doesn't it? Yeah. You'll have like, say, there's a lad who likes doing guillotines, or another lad who is a bit heavier, stockier, and he might just be into like setting up kimuras or something. You'll give them like more individualized learning. So they're coming and they work with a partner on their own games. So then as they improve, they can then bring that into the class format and teach people how they're getting into those techniques. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Something like that. I'm kind of going to play around with maybe just one class a week, an open mat, see whether it works or not. Yeah, just to see how that, because that gives more people hopefully more experience of getting into a bit of a coaching role as well, where they can show like how their individual way of getting into a guillotine is, or how they set up the kimura. Something along those lines, and playing around.
That's good. Everyone's sharing their ideas. Yeah, that's good. Getting everyone involved, like asking people, like, so how do you do it? I like that.
Yeah. But in terms of club going forward, just keep on doing what we're doing. We've had a good run so far. We've got quite high retention. We're getting new people in as well. I'm hoping to try and set up Roger Gracie coming down for the end of the year. So hopefully we can get him down, because we're due to add him down in May 2022, but obviously we had to cancel that. So I'm looking on trying to get him down again. But
nice.
Yeah, I'm building a bit of a competition team as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm looking forward to getting people competing, especially it seems to be, and I love your opinion on it. Just, you call it submission grappling, but no-gi grappling, whatever you want to call it, is so popular now, in it, and more and more people just want to do it. And I still love both. I love the gi. I like doing no-gi as well, but the no-gi seems to be taking off again now.
Big for competition, yeah. Everyone's really doing it.
Yeah.
But then I think a lot of people are just doing no-gi by itself now. Even like for our interclub, people go, what's the format? Blah, blah, blah. I go, gi, then no-gi, or I don't do gi. It's okay, no worries.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people saying that. But then still, each interclub, we always have 40 people on each thing. So I think the gi is still relevant. And even like judging by Empire, the week past 2 Empires that I've been to, rammed. Everyone's fighting the gi, like almost like maybe in the morning, and then no gi in the afternoon.
Yeah. What I do like though is your format of the 5 minutes gi, 5 minutes no gi, and it's all sub only as well. So you don't have to worry about the point system or anything. Just the subs the win. And I think in the gi that's exciting as well. Just going for sub only. Yeah.
It's good. Obviously, it gives people that little like place to practice techniques and place to maybe get competition nerves out of them. I think I had one guy messaging me the other day. He said, I've just got my blue and I've signed up for the white belt one, but I'm going to like wait a little bit before I do the blue one, so I'll have some prep. And I messaged him back and I said, don't worry about it, just do the blue one. It's the perfect place to do it. I said, guaranteed there's new blues in there. I said, just come do it. I said, try it out. I said, like, at least then you're not paying like 50 odd quid to enter Empire or something like that. I said, you pay the tenner and you get to see what blue belt's like. And then he's like, okay, then I'll do it.
Yeah. And what I found as well, when I did the 10-minute sub only at your place, because obviously the crowd who's attracted to that, in one mindset, you might be like, fucking hell, I'm not going there. It could be quite intimidating. But I'm not just saying it because you're here. The atmosphere was amazing. Everyone was just so friendly. How you doing? Shaking hands and everything. Everyone was dead supportive of the guys who were competing on the mat. Yeah. All eyes are on. And everyone was just really supportive. And it was a really, really like friendly atmosphere. Everyone just being there supporting everybody else. Yeah.
Like even like when I'm reffing, I cheer. Like I cheer when someone does something good. I love it.
Yeah, it was amazing.
So it should be.
Yeah,
like it's not like we're not at war, are we? Just there, I'm gonna roll on the floor.
I know.
Make it like a nice little social event. We'll put some music on and we'll watch some people have a scrap.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got the Facebook live feeds as well, aren't you, with the commentary and that as well, which is a nice little touch. Yeah. People can watch it at home. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, Kev, about anything, work through some sessions, how's the best place to do that?
Got a couple things. My Instagram is Kev ASW Liverpool. If you're on Facebook, it's Kev Owen. Or the gym one is ASWL on Facebook. Or Instagram is ASW Liverpool. But I don't do the Instagram for the gym. John does, but I'm sure John will pass it on. Yeah. So they're your ways of getting hold of me.
Cool, mate.
For anything.
Yeah, brilliant. And we'll try and sort out a session for you to come down to us and do some mind coaching with us. That's
definitely be a big help for me. Help me practice my craft. Appreciate that.
I'll be well interested in that. But yeah, cheers for your time this morning, Kev. I appreciate it, mate.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, enjoy your week off. Soon. Yeah, enjoy your week
nice one.
See you later, mate. Thanks very much.
Nice one, La. See you in a bit.
See ya.